is Black money?
About economic liberation and
Mm.
freedom.
Critical conversations to invigorate our communities through Black led CDFIs.
But most importantly, we want people to create wealth.
When we look at our communities, we still see a big disinvestment.
Going from resourceful to resourced.
CDFIs have that high touch. They understand their customers. They know how to reach out to those customers. They stay in touch with those customers.
We are trying to create job makers and not just job takers.
Yeah, I've even heard it said recently that great leaders don't lead from the top down, they lead from the bottom up because they're actually lifting everybody.
We have to do more than just being a regular lender.
Don't give me this story about if I teach you how to fish. Give me some money.
Yes, yes. Hello, LinkedIn. Justin Minott here from the African American Alliance of CDFI CEOs, and I'm about to bring out my guest, the powerful, magnanimous Malinda Williams. Malinda, good to have you here.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Now, you are all in for a big treat today. Malinda is a fabulous human being and also the CEO and president of Omaha 100, doing brilliant work out in the community. Now, first question, we're going to go right in here. Who in the world is Malinda Williams? Like, what is the essence of Malinda Williams?
Great start. Thank you, first of all, Justin, for this opportunity and bringing me in to chat with you today. Who is Malinda Williams? Great question. I would say if I had to give myself a title, a label, I'm going to say I'm a provoker of peace. I'm out here really focused on supporting community and helping to provoke peace in communities' lives and people's lives, families' lives through creating pathways to prosperity. So right now that looks like access to capital, that looks like empowerment through partnerships and alliances with other organizations that allow us to really, truly access ownership opportunities, whether that be home mortgages with home ownership, business ownership, owning our own financial capacity and wealth through debt consolidation loans, or just helping to develop more real estate and affordable units here in the community here in Omaha, Nebraska. But whatever it is that I'm doing, I want to be able to be of service to my community so that we are creating a greater good for the generations to come.
You're doing it. Now, I really like this idea of a provoker of peace because you don't see those two words going together. How do you provoke towards a peaceful state? That's what I want to know.
It's not always an easy path, right? Sometimes you got to stir some things up and provoke a little conversation, be provocative and get the people going. So, as long as the outcome is positive for all at the end, then it brings peace. It's worth doing.
I like it. That makes so much sense to me. So next big question, and then we're going to get into your journey. We're talking about economic liberation. What does Black liberation mean to you? It means so many different things to so many different people. And I want to understand what's in your mind.
Yeah, no, I think I'm trying to remember a quote that our fearless leader, Mr. Linwood Long, said. But really and truly, it's freedom. It's freedom and power. And so liberation allows us to have the freedom to have choices, to have equity and equality in the systems that exist in our world, and access. And so with those things, we have more choices. We have more freedom to live in the way that brings true happiness and joy, and the power to make those choices without unnecessary barriers based on arbitrary nuances.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now, how in the world did you end up here as the president and CEO of Omaha 100 in Nebraska? Give us the making of Malinda Williams.
All right. Well, it all started. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we can start wherever you want to start. People have started all the way at birth before.
Right.
So you can, however you want to go.
So I grew up a military brat, lived in a couple different places, but my dad landed in Sumter, South Carolina. And so that's where a lot of my formative years were spent. And from there, attended the University of South Carolina and got involved in the financial services industry, following Dad's footsteps after the military. He became a financial advisor. And so then I did as well. And I loved that opportunity to really help people because one, I already had a passion for helping people, but I also was really excited and passionate about investing. And so that was a way to marry the two things. And so I spent about 16 years as a Series 7 and 66 licensed financial advisor. And during that time, I worked with a lot of families and businesses to become masters of their finances and captains of their goals. And so we worked together through educational workshops, one-on-one, and just really trying to be impactful and educating people about their options when it came to the financial services industry. Because there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of talking figures in media, social media, especially as it's become more popular as an outlet and source of information. And so folks really needed a trusted source to go to know, unbiased, let's make sense of what's out there and what makes sense for me personally, my risk tolerance and my time horizon for investing and all of those things to achieve their goals. And so when I learned of the opportunity with Omaha 100, I was just really excited to not only grow my impact supporting families and wealth literacy, but also to innovate the way that those families were able to access financial services. It felt like a way to exponentially enhance my impact across the area that I was working in and just really across all the nations, areas that I served. And so I feel having access to these different products and services is a critical piece of reaching their goals and building that wealth beyond just the planning piece.
Right. That makes so much sense to me. So I just see that through line that you've really been heart driven in your work and you've chosen the financial industry. Talk more about that. Why dollars? Why the financial industry? Why be so involved in this space as your way of making a difference in the world?
I feel like wealth is where we really see how past injustices have bred present suffering for our community. And so being able to influence the racial wealth gap and wealth building for our community felt like hard work for me and a way to truly be of service to community in a way that is empowering, to be that friends and family that we don't have, that everyone talks about, or the bootstraps that people say we should pull ourselves up by, but not really having those resources available to do that. And so being able to influence those and really lead a financial revolution for community was a passion of mine.
Yeah. What is a financial revolution? Talk about that. What does that really look like? That's such a beautiful phrase.
Yeah, it looks like innovation and processes that have existed for so long and truly were not set up for our success, minority success. And so being able to be at the table and have conversations about how we're truly assessing risk in a culturally relevant way, to understand that the experiences of different communities is different from this standard algorithm that certain traditional industries use to assess our borrowers and our community. And so just being able to have those conversations and influence change and equity and inclusion in their processes as they look to be more financially inclusive in traditional lending. But during that time, still have an organization, a CDFI, that allows us to provide services as the other institutions catch up with a more inclusive way of lending and banking.
Yeah. So talk more about Omaha 100. What do you all have going on right now? What are the core kind of services and focus areas that you're using to attack this and create more financial revolution?
Yeah, so Omaha 100 has been in existence for over 30 years and was really established as a alternative lender, affordable lender for mortgages. And so here in Omaha, Nebraska, some nonprofit developers, community advocates, and leaders got together, and philanthropic entities and banking institutions got together to create a loan pool that could provide financing, creative financing for the community to really combat redlining and create more diverse homeowners in the area. And so for up until January of 2023, we had exclusively focused on the mortgage lending piece, and also partnering with nonprofit developers as they created more affordable units and communities. But I joined Omaha 100 in March of 2021. So I've been here about 3.5 years. And coming into Omaha 100, I recognized that there was an opportunity for expansion of services, creating other pathways of wealth for families, and leveraging this CDFI designation to really have access to more opportunities for wealth. So we were able to obtain a grant in partnership with the state and expand into business lending, and then also into real estate development and debts consolidation loans. So going from a core service, which we continue to do, we still have the mortgage lending piece, but into 3 other lanes of services. So now being a more holistic CDFI, providing access to capital across the board in these different lanes. And so we've been doing the business lending now for about a year. Lots of learning to happen there as we work to meet people where they are. So just understanding more of where our entrepreneurs, our diverse and minority entrepreneurs are in their journeys, and going from idea to invoice, or idea to or if they're already in business, scaling it beyond and getting to that next level. And so wanting to be able to meet them at every level of business and provide not just access to capital, but a true relationship and accountability partner, and a navigator of the different services in our ecosystem here. Because I will say, being from South Carolina, and coming to Nebraska, it's been quite a transition. But one thing I have to give credit to Nebraska for is how they support entrepreneurs and all the different resources and nonprofits that exist in the technical assistance space. And it can be so much so that it can be overwhelming to an entrepreneur who's trying to figure out how to best access them and plan their progress for their goals of their business. And so Omaha 100 being able to build capacity internally to hire navigators to help these individuals as they determine which program makes sense and which grant is a good fit for their business, I think has been and will be a big game changer for us. And as I said before, we're learning. We are a year into this business lending piece. So thank goodness that our mortgage lending piece has been so solid and established, and that we'll be able to continue that service while building this other one as well, to just give more access to capital opportunities.
Sure. I have so many questions. You said so many gems in there. Okay. First, I want to shout out whoever is on with us live with LinkedIn. Thank you so much for being here. Hop in the chat. Who is here with us? This is a time, and this is why we do it live, for questions. You have brilliance right here this way on my screen anyway. You got to make sure you take advantage of that. And also, we want you all to connect with each other here on LinkedIn. This is a connective space, so make sure that you're hopping in the chat. Let us know who's in the building and ask some good questions of brilliance while you have her in the building. All right. And shout out to Jermaine MacGyver Cherry from the Alliance here, hopping in and asking some good questions. And actually, we'll go with this question first. Okay. So what is happening in Omaha? Must have been a transition. Now, I do want to know, because something you mentioned here was 2021. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, there was a little something going on in the world in 2021, a la pandemic, something in that nature. Now, you took over at that time and then now have launched a new line of business for your work. So talk about navigating that scene, because now we're in some different unprecedented times coming up, and I think there's a lot of relevance there. And then talk about how you actually got to bring on a new product line practically. What did that look like to pitch that internally at your organization, for an organization that's 30 years old and has been doing home lending, right? That, I think there's just a lot that we can learn. So pandemic, and then how to actually bring a new product to market.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the pandemic actually was helpful to our evolution, because it allowed people were already in the mind frame of doing things differently, evolving and adapting to a condition that was out of our control, and just being forced to change and adapt. And so people, I love my board. They are phenomenal and so engaged and supportive of the work and the vision. And so I'm grateful for that. So when I talk to the board about evolution and understanding how the American dream has even evolved. American dream at one point was mostly homeownership. And now we see that dream has evolved into other pathways of ownership. And other opportunities to include entrepreneurship. And so the board agreed and saw that there was a need for more support. I mean, Omaha 100 is the only Black-led CDFI in the state of Nebraska. And so to have that level of representation in an institution that has access to capital allows us to move a little differently and understand our community and our clients that we serve differently. Yes. Because we are sharing a lived experience that they also are navigating. And so that was it. Kind of not an easy sell, but it made sense. It was logical. And so with that, in the pandemic, we were focused on making sure that the homeowners that have been created over the years in our $36 million portfolio worth of mortgage loans were able to sustain and be successful. It looked like loan modifications to help support people through that time, and also helping them navigate the Nebraska Mortgage Assistance Program that the state created to help support homeowners through that time. And so I'm happy to say that's one of the accomplishments that I'm proud of for Omaha 100 is that we didn't experience any foreclosures during that time period. What? We were able to truly support our borrowers and work together because we're not a transactional institution. Yeah. We're about relationships, and we're about truly supporting homeownership long-term and that success for our homeowners long-term and that transition of wealth to the next generation. And so we look to be able to maintain that success rate and continue to work with borrowers in that way. But in doing that, and then as the pandemic continued, noticing that entrepreneurs in Nebraska, I think the state of Nebraska and its leaders also recognize the funds that came out for the PPP loans, of the 4,500 entrepreneurs that were granted funds, only 1.2% of them were Black in the state. And so that meant even more so that there was a need for capital and support through that time period. And that was another catalyst for us getting into the business lending space, was meeting the need of those entrepreneurs who weren't able to access those COVID funds during that time. And so we were granted the SSBCI, or the State Small Business Credit Initiative grant, which comes to the federal government and comes to the states. And we were the only minority-led organization to be selected to help distribute those funds. And so we wanted to just really be good stewards and intentional with supporting, they're called SETI, entrepreneurs who have just been disadvantaged and underserved in this area. But I think that COVID really uncovered a lot of disparities, and Nebraska has risen to the occasion and is meeting the need and the call for more support in these underserved communities. So much so that there was a designation created by two of our phenomenal senators here, Senator Wayne and Senator McKinney. They carved out about $400 million worth of state funds to invest into minority communities here, specifically North Omaha, which is a Black community, North and South Omaha, which is the Black and Hispanic, Black and Brown community. And so they've invested into entrepreneurs and different projects, as well as ironed out a designation for an iHub. And so I do sit on the board for the North Omaha iHub as the vice president, and we've been able to form a partnership with them at Omaha 100 with this iHub to
What's
really—
an iHub for our listeners?
Innovation Hub. It is called the Omaha Innovation Connection Hub here. So the iHub is similar. I mean, it's a concept that's happening around the country. One of our favorites is the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurship in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep. So shout out to Jay and his team out there. He's been phenomenal in helping us as we develop the iHub here, and really being able to share best practices with us and some their success stories, so that we can hit the ground running, not reinvent the wheel, but bring that support and service platform to Omaha.
Yeah, brilliant. So now, going from concept to an actual financial product, right? So you said, okay, I see the need. We got some dollars coming in. We're pitching these things. How did you go? I'm going to borrow your phrase, from idea to invoice, which I like. How did you actually go from idea to deploying your first loans? How did you choose the path for what type of product you deploy? Give me a little bit more insight there.
Well, it was quite the journey. It was not a crystal stair, but we had to just really plug in with community. We had some listening sessions. Again, thank God for the Alliance and OFN community, because we were able to connect with partners who have been doing this for such a long time, and speak candidly about what works well, what doesn't, especially as we try to create a hybrid access model with COVID, just coming off of COVID and realizing that, some folks aren't comfortable coming in and sitting down just yet. So just being able to make it virtual as well. But really understanding what are the key components of this product that are going to make it different and truly meet people where they are. And so some of those things were not having a minimum credit score, because credit scores don't truly tell the borrowing behavior or true character of a borrower. And so understanding what's on a credit report and being able to walk through that credit report with the borrower to understand how to see your business through the lens of a lender, not the lens of your passion. Because so often people come in and they're so passionate about their business, and it is inspiring and exciting. But we have to make the numbers make sense and make sure that the risk is mitigated for all parties. We don't want to set people up for failure. We want to set people up for success. So understanding if it's the right time to take on capital, just all those different things. So no minimum credit score, true focus on the credit report, no requirement for collateral. We shouldn't have to be homeless to actualize a dream. Right. And so, of course, we will accept collateral, and that might help you access additional funds, but there's not a requirement for collateral to start that conversation. And then just being flexible with terms. And we were able to actually launch with interest rate of 7%. So that was a bit lower than traditional, but it really does help cash flow and affordability for our entrepreneurs as they are startup, launching, scaling, whatever the situation may be.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned this piece around looking at your business through the eyes of a lender or a funder. What does that mean practically for the entrepreneurs that are listening? Because a lot of our community here, we're sitting here in Black Business Month, which is why I'm so excited to have you as the first interview for Black Business Month. Thanks for being here. Shout out to all the Black businesses out there making a big difference. What does it look like to look at your business through the eyes of a funder, a lender, not just through the eyes of your passion? I think that's a really unique phrase, and I like that. So what does that look like in real life?
I often coin it or say, think like a banker, act like a boss. So we want to think about we want to think about our business in terms of the numbers and the risk, and how a lender might see your progress and understand your business and the success the potential that it has. Yeah. So if you're bringing in a partner and they're funding and investing, you're wanting to think about those different cash flow, profit loss, not just a business plan, but understanding, truly that you understand the market, that you understand what's on the horizon for that industry that you're getting into, the need for the widget or service or whatever it is that you're offering, and you truly understand your target market and how to engage and motivate them to buy. And then also what other resources and things that you may engage to be truly successful. And so being able to tell that story in that way and show those numbers in that way and have realistic projections for your cash flow is truly helpful to a lender as we're helping be a partner to you in your success.
Now, that mindset, I think, is key. And all successful and impactful financial institutions that I hear from have that thing, is thinking like a partner in this journey. Talk about that piece for our CDFI friends, which I think I see a few. Andre Whittington. Oh, there he is. Amazing impact. I agree. He's one of our Alliance members. So what does that mean to be a partner and not just a funder on that journey? What does that mean practically?
Absolutely. I think we see that so often in our traditional lenders, where it's more transactional
Yeah.
and it's in that moment of that engagement, but there's not so much the support on the post loan side, or preparing for the loan. And so that's
Mhm.
truly also what makes a CDFI different, is that we are focused on a relationship with those businesses. We are helping you prepare for the underwriting, making sure your documents are in order, connecting you with support, um, to get those documents together, your cash flow, your profit loss, just different balance sheet statements, and then also and taxes if necessary,
Mhm.
so that you're ready to go to underwriting and present your business in the best possible light to the approval committee. And then after the loan, being accountability partners, checking in on a regular basis, continuing to engage and provide you with just different workshops and entrepreneurial support. Even so much so, we're working on a partnership with a local accounting firm that provides regular follow up and engagement throughout that first year, hopefully second year if we can get enough funding,
Mhm.
to keep those businesses on track and moving and gaining traction towards the goals they have long term as they scale and grow. And I think the iHub will be really instrumental in helping us identify even procurement opportunities and contracts, so that we can help provide additional target audiences and markets that they can access, and just more secure funding to their business as they lock in those contracts with those larger corporations.
That's something that I see as a gap in the market right now, right? There's the funding, and then there's the TA, there's the support, but then there's the practically, how do I get revenue? Like putting people in touch with potential contracts, local government contracts, getting people certified to be in there. How are you going to attack that piece? Because it sounds like you're thinking about that well. How do we get people to revenue, which obviously does wonders for your lending program as well, because people are,
Yeah.
getting
And
money in the
everybody
doors.
wins, right? When we start to connect the different players in the economy here. And I think one of the things that the iHub really wants to do is bring those different entrepreneurial ecosystem players together,
Yeah.
so that we can all work more collectively and collaboratively for each of these entrepreneurs that we're serving,
Mhm.
as well as attract more entrepreneurs to Nebraska. We really see ourselves as becoming the Black Silicon Valley of the Midwest.
Okay, come
Um,
on. Let's pause there.
so
Go on
I'm
Nebraska.
gonna put it
Why
out there
why
clearly.
Nebraska? Why should anybody go to Nebraska? I know nothing
Yeah.
about it.
No, it's a great ecosystem. I mean, access to leaders in the area is just it's fairly simple to reach out to your senators, grab coffee with city council members. The proximity to decision makers and people who are truly interested in innovating and collaborating and working together is phenomenal
Yeah.
here. And so we're getting those parts to work together. Corporate also is very plugged into the nonprofit space, and just everyone wanting to move together for a common goal. That desire is truly there, and so I truly believe that that is possible for us to bring more talent here. So much so, we have had a generous funder that has granted us funds to be able to recruit talent and issue grants to folks that are interested in relocating their headquarters to Omaha, Nebraska. Shameless plug. Come on
Okay,
along.
okay. What are we
And
talking
we're,
about? How many dollars are we talking about here to relocate to Nebraska?
it's new, it's developing, but I just wanted to put the teaser out there so that you can
Okay,
go ahead and get your sights on Nebraska.
okay, everybody,
Omaha, we've
pay
got the College World
attention.
Series. Warren Buffett has his Buffett Berkshire Hathaway days here. So there's a lot of money
Oh
moving
yeah, he's
around
the
in
Oracle of
Nebraska.
Omaha. I get it now.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, we'll be able to roll that out in the first quarter of next year, and just looking to really recruit some high growth startup companies that are looking to launch and grow and build their workforce development and all those things here in Nebraska. And so we wanted to support them and provide them all the resources they need to be successful.
Yes, 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 yes. You're doing it. Now, what is next for Omaha 100? Where do you see? I know you are a visionary leader. What do you see on the horizon for you all?
On the horizon for us, I think it definitely is going to look like us truly leaning into our core values, ownership, integrity, authenticity, innovation, collaboration, making sure that we are able to work together with all of these different resources that I've mentioned, and that are developing, being able to partner with the iHub to create something that has truly never existed here in the state, for minority entrepreneurs, and continuing to create more homeowners, and support that Black and Brown ownership, minority ownership, opportunity in the state. And so the iHub will be, definitely a huge partner and initiative here. We are building, middle income workforce housing and partnering with the state there, and just working together to expand access to capital across the entire state. Right now, we serve primarily, Omaha and its surrounding counties, but the need is across the state. And so just being able to expand, and serve more is really the goal.
Yes. So you mentioned something about living into your values and expanding on that. How do you do that as a leader, right? Because you have all these beautiful values: collaboration, ownership, innovation, some really beautiful words. How do you make that real with your team, in your work? How do you measure those things? Are we hitting collaboration? Are we hitting ownership? Because I think, especially in the CDFI space, these are very big-hearted, brilliant people with missions that really matter. How do you take that concept, the heart posture, and make that really play out in the world in a tangible way?
Yeah, I think having the clarity and awareness of what those things are so that they can lead our decision making is imperative. So knowing that those are the drivers for all of our efforts, helps us gain traction and make sure that we're staying in alignment with those values. Sometimes when there are so many entities that are trying to serve community, and Nebraska, Omaha specifically has so many nonprofits that are doing amazing work. But sometimes it can lead to a bit of a co-opetition vibe, which really isn't necessary because we're all working together for a common mission, and we're nonprofits. So just being able to kind of bring that conversation back to remember that we are mission driven, we are here to serve, and if we can enhance our impact collectively, amazing. And if that doesn't work and that causes mission drift or misalignment for another organization, continue to go in the way of your mission and continue to do the great work. That's just fine as well. But we know that we're better together. We'll get farther together. And so we just want to be able to work together, and not duplicate services, but truly enhance the impact of what we're doing.
Now, how do you move partnerships along on that lane, right, towards real collaboration where there is, and I'm asking for a friend, where in communities like Omaha or like Durham, very nonprofit heavy, brilliant people doing great work, but collaboration can sometimes be difficult. So how do you get players at the table in a way that actually lends itself to traction? Let's say that doing together, not just talking, not just, if you can get everybody talking. How do you get to the doing part? Because you've done that very successfully.
I think in the 3.5 years I've been here, it's definitely been a learning opportunity for me, because I would just get so excited and passionate about doing a thing and not necessarily have enough conversation beforehand about how we're doing this thing and make sure we're managing expectations for all parties, and having a thorough enough conversation to understand all of our assignments and being on the same sheet of music. But that's what I've learned, to not just jump in the deep end with both feet, but make sure that we are getting more prepared for those relationships, and understanding what everyone does well, and then assigning and delegating those different parts of the process or the program, to the entities that do the best with those efforts. So one of our partnerships is with another CDFI here, Lending Link, and they are a great alternative to payday advance options in the community. And so we worked with them to deliver our debt consolidation program. And it's been a wonderful relationship. Community members are able to go to Lending Link. Beforehand, we worked together to iron out exactly what that application and underwriting looks like, getting on the same page there. Lending Link has capacity and manpower to service those loans and products. And so being able to trust that organization and work together with their leadership and their staff helped us have more capacity than what we had internally, because we are a small but mighty team of about 7 people. So
you're doing all that with 7 people?
We're doing all this with 7 people.
Shout out to the staff at Omaha 100.
Y'all
out here.
Yeah, I love them so much. They're an amazing group of folks who are just driven and ambitious. And it's so great to be able to have folks that are from traditional lanes, but wanted to come over to the nonprofit side to bring their expertise and experience to the services that are so needed in community here. And so thank you so much to them. If they're watching, y'all are amazing. But then also to being able to leverage other organizations like Lending Link, the iHub, and other folks to be able to have more capacity internally. Because that's one thing that nonprofits, I think, across the board struggle with is operation capital. It's always an easy conversation to talk about lending dollars and being able to encourage philanthropy and banking to provide lending dollars. But then when you want to talk about operation capital, they're like, oh, operating capital? What? You don't need that.
You don't need wheels on your car. You just need gas.
Yeah, you just need gas. It's fine. So yeah, it's great to be able to leverage other organizations and work together so that we can increase our capacity without necessarily having to hire internally. But that's another goal for the future, is being able to bring on more great talent to the team and, again, have more in-house services.
Yes. What is one thing that you're excited about, a product, a service, something that you're rolling out here in the near future that we could get a little sneak peek? What is something that's right there for you all, or that just launched that you're excited about and you want to promote?
Yeah, I think something that is, it's probably really premature to even discuss, but since we're friends, I'll go ahead and give you a little insight.
This is why you tune in to Black Money, everybody. This is why you're here. Exclusive stuff.
Yes, but no, we are really passionate also about serving, again, the whole community. And so with that, we know that from Michelle Alexander's new Jim Crow book, we know that there is a certain institution and system that more so affects our community than others. And so we have a range of folks who are reentry to the community and coming back to society and needing to, wanting to be successful, wanting to access ownership, wanting to be entrepreneurs, because there's still just systemic inequalities that exist. And so being able to provide lending products to reentry citizens is one of our newest programs that we are working with other reentry programs to develop and launch in the future.
So needed. I mean, these people are highly skilled, great people, want to make a difference, and there's just so many extra things stacked against them. That's stupid. That's stupid, guys. You guys, anyway, that's a quote. Anyway, little social media sound like. See, this is why live is a little dangerous too, because they give me the mic and you never know what's going to happen on LinkedIn Live. This is great. All right. So rounding out this interview here, you've been wonderful. What's a song that you're listening to right now that really gets you hyped? Let's go with your hype song right now when you just need to, get up and go.
A hype song right now.
Yeah.
It's Blessings. I think that's the name of it. Snoop Dogg is on there, but it's actually a Christian song.
Snoop's everywhere. He's at the Olympics. He's in your church. He's everywhere.
Yes.
Martha Stewart.
The late Al Rance is on there. I'm trying to think of who else. I think maybe Kirk Franklin's on there. It's kind of a mashup of folks, but it's just being grateful for blessings and opportunities to continue to be the hands and feet and grateful to God and all of those things. So that is something my son and I listen to in the morning to get ourselves going and attack the day.
I love it. I love it. Now we're going to close with this. What is one thing that very few people know about Malinda Williams that you can share here in this? What is like one little known fact?
Look, now you're pushing it. I feel like I'm already all the.
No, this is the last one. This is the last one.
Okay. One thing. Oh man. That's a tough one.
I know it's got to be something that you can share on here too. So that's
I know, because no one's watching, so no big deal.
right. There's just not thousands and millions of people on LinkedIn watching.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to save that one for our next interview.
You got it. Tune in next time to hear one
coming back.
amazing fact, right? That's what it is. Malinda, you've been wonderful. Thank you for being here and for sharing your heart and your wisdom. To everybody who tuned in, we really appreciate y'all. Keep the conversation going in the chat. Everybody go and connect with Malinda. And to the listeners, the one ask that I have of you all is something that costs you nothing other than a couple of clicks. Share this interview so that we can amplify Malinda, her work, the impact of the CDFI industry. Gotta do that. So just hit share on this. It does wonders to get it in front and cross-pollinate with everybody's network. So thank you in advance for doing that.
Justin, Frank just gave it away.
What?
He said, I'm a scratch baker. Absolutely.
What's this?
I forgot about that.
Tell me more. We got something here. Shout out to Frank Paula.
Oh, that's funny. Yep. That's my self-care, being able to, which is a counterintuitive because you're baking and making sweets, which is meaning that I have to do more working out. But I love to bake.
That creates the need for the workout. Yes. No, we got it.
Yes. No box mix for me. So I love to bake.
What
my
is
son is now my sous chef.
Like, what is your item that is like, no, my, galettes, my strawberry galettes are, second to none. What's
No, I know pineapple upside down cake is like a thing and everyone does it, but my pineapple upside down cake has some secret ingredients that just chef kiss.
Okay. You heard it here, everybody. Pineapple upside down cake. That's Malinda's next business. And she has all the funding to do it. Oh. That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here, Malinda. I really appreciate you for being who you are and for doing the work that you're doing. Any closing thoughts for the people?
Yeah, well, I just want to say again, thank you so much for the time to get together and have this conversation. I'm really excited about what the future holds in the direction that the economy is going, the country is going, Omaha, Nebraska is going. And I look forward to being able to connect with everyone here. Thank you for your time and listening and being able to just do more good in the community and make more prosperity and Black liberation for everyone.
Yes. And our liberation goes together. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Keep up the great work. Keep making a difference. And we'll see you next week with, I think I got Paul Jones next week. So shout out to Paul for being the next guest. All right. Minott out. Is Black money.
About economic liberation and freedom.
Critical conversations to invigorate our communities through Black-led CDFIs.
But most importantly, we want people to create wealth.
When we look at our communities, we still see a big disinvestment.
Going from resourceful to resourced.
CDFIs have that high touch. They understand their customers. They know how to reach out to those customers. They stay in touch with those customers.
We are trying to create job makers and not just job takers.
Yeah, I've even heard it said recently that great leaders don't lead from the top down, they lead from the bottom up because they're actually lifting everybody.
We have to do more than just being a regular lender.
Don't give me this story about if I teach you how to fish. Give me some money.